right, we're back with another Armfighter report. It is Thursday, November 9th, 2023, and today I get to talk with the promoters of the recent Knuckles Up event back in August and future events coming. The High Five Arm Wrestling crew, Kristofer Florendo and William Blazeski. I hope I didn't murder those names, fellas.
Perfect.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Doing great.
Yep, same here. Thank you again for
Awesome.
having us. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks for coming on. I have to be honest, until you guys announced the Knuckles Up event, I had no idea who you were. So, was that
Yeah.
the first of that first event? Was that the start of High Five Arm Wrestling, or has it been around for a while in some other capacity?
Oh, no, we've
Uh,
been around for a little over 2 years, but I will leave it to my man Kris to give a little bit more of the history because it's a very interesting one.
Awesome.
yeah, so I've been in the sport, I want to say roughly 5 to 6 years now. I kind of lose track after a while. But I previously with Team Beast Mode out in New Jersey. And then COVID hit. And then myself and Jason, we ended up kind of forming the High Five when we ended up having some issues practicing. Everything had shut down, right? We wanted to kind of find our way to promote the sport and get it more out there. So we started the High Five. And then from there, we kind of were just in a park. And then eventually we grew as a team. And then we ended up me and Will in Signature Fitness. And now it's kind of me and Will at the reins, kind of leading the promotion. And we had Knuckles Up as our big pay-per-view. But before that, we had a tournament. It was an Arnold qualifier, and we ended up having a booth at the Arnold Classic, which was awesome as well. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And here we are. Here we
Mhm.
are.
Okay, so what was the Arnold qualifier? How'd you pull that off?
Yeah, so we worked together with USAA and we were able to put a qualifier together last year. So I think we had about a little over 100 competitors that day. All the weight classes and anyone who took the top three was able to qualify for the Arnold Classic. We showed up in droves. A lot of the members of our team even qualified, myself, Kris, and a few others. And it was a wonderful experience. Unfortunately, we weren't able to host one this year, but hopefully next year we will host one as well. But we have some other things planned up our sleeves. So hopefully we'll get to talk about that soon.
Yeah, you did. You did this big event. You did a pay-per-view. It comes out right, and I tell you what. I was down at I think Mississippi State. BJ Fakakis is a
Yeah,
friend
yeah,
of
yeah.
mine, and
Awesome guy.
man, he had nothing but phenomenal things to say about the event. From what
Mhm.
I saw from the production standpoint, you guys did a great job. I have to ask the pay-per-view side of it. Is that something that you're going to continue? Did that work out well? How did that play out?
Yeah, 100%. That is our main goal is we are here. We say it all the time. We're arm wrestling for the people, by the people. We want to put those matchups together that everyone has always wanted to see, but for some reason never happens. Something interesting that we do and that Kris and I feel very strongly about is we are not here to claim that anyone that wins on our card is the champion of the world or the champion of their weight class. But you come to Knuckles Up, you show what the world you're all about, and you get that match that you've always wanted. So that is our bread and butter. We have a team. Obviously, the High Five is our team, and we practice locally, and obviously the community is extremely important to us. But from the business perspective, pay-per-views, that's what we're all about. So we got Knuckles Up 2. We'll be launching the dates for Knuckles Up 3 and 4 very shortly. And we're here and we're not going anywhere.
So do you see it as like a kind of like the Michael Todd, the Monster Factory thing? Same, just with a different production, obviously, but
So if
super
in
match
terms,
only, right?
yeah, super matches only. Yep, best of five. Kind of our whole thing is not to sound cheesy. We're the high five, right? We want to have five super matches on each of our card,
Mhm.
best of five, and we're planning on just making the productions bigger and better every single show. This time we have some new things in store, and we're going to be perfecting any of those little tweaks that we had the first time. But another big part of it, as you have heard, from BJ and hopefully from others, is that we are also trying to create an amazing in-person experience for everyone who comes to our event. There's vendors, there's food, there's drinks. You're at a beautiful hotel, or one day maybe even a massive event center. We'll see. But the whole point is to be part of the audience and part of the experience, because that's what it's all about. Is you want to feel like you are contributing every time you scream for your favorite athlete. every time you hear them cheering, like when you're up on that stage, you're competing. Sorry, it adds a whole nother level. So yeah, like Monster Factory, all those guys, you better watch out because we're coming for you, and we're gonna keep shooting to the moon. We love everybody, but our goal, as Kris knows, is we just want to keep growing and growing and growing and providing the best possible show for the entire arm wrestling community.
Yeah,
Well,
and kind of.
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, just to echo off of what Will was saying, I think one thing that we've really noticed, right, is a lot of the top competitions on an international platform are really happening overseas. And what we want to do is not only bring the fights over here, but also to get those international athletes more recognition to a U.S. market. I feel like we don't learn about them until they have big matches in East versus West or King of the Table. But there's tons of competition out there, and from what we've heard from the athletes, it's very hard to travel out there, and the time zones are different. You're traveling how many hours. It's kind of cool to have them come to your home court and kind of see how it works on the opposite end.
Yep.
That's a cool concept to kind of give the kind of second tier guys a shot at fame, right, on the other side of the world. So that's definitely cool. I think from a production standpoint, man, you blew the Monster Factory events out of the water. I'm not gonna lie. I love the Monster Factory events. I like what they got going on. But you had that professional touch that everybody seems to look for, that I obviously would strive for. I do the Strongest Badge event in St. Louis, which is kind of a big event around here, and I love to try to do the production. But what you guys accomplished, I don't have the money for that. So you're doing a great job. It was phenomenal, especially just for the first event, because I know there's so many kinks that happen right off tops that it gets so much better so quick. So what's in store for this next one?
Well, just as the first one, we have international athletes coming in. As you've already seen, we have some pretty cool matches we set up. We have Chansaw versus Laka Adair all the way from Australia. We have Adam Warzinski versus Andre Shark. And we got some other good ones coming soon. I don't want to give too much away, but follow our Instagram, and there's going to be some massive updates soon. We're working on the last couple of matches. Obviously, as you understand, having put on promotions yourself, working with visas and getting people over here can be a little bit complex at sometimes. But other than that, we're going to have some exciting features for the audience that we haven't been able to do before, and a couple more giveaways from our sponsors and a few extra things. But the real key to the second event is, as I had mentioned before, is perfecting it from the first one, making sure there's no issues whatsoever. We are very, very thankful that our live stream did not go down. It kept going perfectly, but we're going to be on time. We're going to make sure it is crystal clear, and just to bring an amazing, amazing show to everyone at home.
So you mentioned the visas. In the first event, it seemed you did have quite a bit of issues. Like the original card came out, and then all of a sudden you couldn't get this guy, you couldn't get that guy. Was it more of a visa issue? I just had the assumption that it was more of a contractual issue. What were you dealing with, both of them?
So yeah, I could kind of speak more to that. I think luckily we were right before the contracts had come out, so it didn't necessarily impact us on that end. So it was a combination of visas, for example, specifically Jordan. Just in terms of timing, we weren't able to resolve it in time. It wasn't anything from either of our faults, really. It's just the nature of the beast, right? Working with U.S. embassies overseas, and then also it was just, unfortunately, some confusion between us and WAF and kind of affiliations. So we've kind of gotten the opportunity to iron that out, so that they're understanding now that we're not part of IFA, and we're not really in part of any league. Like Will had touched on earlier, it's not like we're trying to say somebody's a champion of a certain weight class, right? So it just so happened, because of the refs and the athletes that we had, that they thought that we were affiliated with IFA, which kind of limited some of the athletes that we could use. So once we cleared that up, everything was good.
So really, that's the only issue they have, is the IFA affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care if these athletes are pulling anywhere else. They just don't want them affiliated with IFA.
Yeah,
essentially that's what it boils down to. Yep.
Interesting. Now, would you guys ever, so I'm assuming that you would never go to a contract-based situation ever, right?
No, I think what it comes down to is very simple. We want every one of these athletes, because let me preface with myself and Kris are professional arm wrestlers ourselves. We want to have as many opportunities for these guys to pull across the globe at every single event that pops up. We can all agree that it would be amazing if, not just the top 2 or 3, but maybe the top 50 guys in the world could be able to make a living, doing the sport that they love. And unfortunately, these contracts might be inhibiting some of these athletes to be able to take advantage of more events around the globe, exposing themselves, building their personal brand. We know that nowadays it's not just about being a great athlete, but building your own brand and your name, your social media, getting out there, being part of more events, and just getting a face to the name in the households of everyone who is an arm wrestling fan and part of this community. So as a long-winded answer, we don't plan on doing any contracts because we just want our athletes that have come and competed to keep coming back and to also experience East vs. West, King of the Table, whoever. And we just want it to be all one big, sounds cheesy, but a big happy family of arm wrestling promotions.
No, it's awesome. Did you do weigh-ins at all, or were these all just, hey, they're coming in how they want to come in, heavy and healthy?
Yeah, so essentially only one match ended up being a weight cap, which was the Sedvon versus Craig Toulier. That's where they cut off at 198. And that was honestly a lot of it, right, is we're doing this not only for the community, but also for the athletes, like we said. So we wanted to make sure that they're happy with everything when it comes to the rules, when it comes to the weight cutoffs. So we really left it up to them. And for the most part, 99% of them are like, hey, come in as heavy as you want. They're like killers. They're like, anytime, any place, we'll do it. And it just so happened because obviously Sedvon is a lighter guy coming in. I think usually walks around 187. And Craig is a little bit heavier. So that's why they had that weight cap. But yeah, other than that, it was just whatever you walk around at. Come as big as you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
yeah, that's
exactly.
awesome. It makes it easier from a production standpoint too.
Yep.
You guys did an Arnold qualifier, so I mean, do it. I know you're doing this as a totally different level of production, obviously, but it's almost easier, probably, right, to run that Knuckles Up event than that Arnold qualifier. No,
I gotta say, honestly, a lot of it is attributed to Joe Sandell and Sandell Sound Production, right? They made it as smooth as possible, just because without them, that's essentially everything you're seeing. Will is the mastermind behind the experience, right? But Joe is kind of the brains behind actually bringing it to life and making this thing a reality. So it's easier because of that. If it wasn't for him, it'd be a nightmare, to be honest. So
Yeah. And I think that one of the biggest differences is that Arnold qualifier was amazing, but we didn't have 100% control because we were working with another organization of USAA. So obviously, you're going to have different ways of doing things and whatever. So when you're able to do something yourself, it obviously it gets a little bit smoother because you guys are the ones that make the final decisions and you move forward from there.
I meant more on a standpoint of just the tournament structure to the supermatch structure. I've run both types of events, and that supermatch format is so much more friendly for me as a promoter and setting up. And to take away weigh-ins on top of that, I mean, it's got to be so much better from that point, not the production side,
I'm not going to lie. It was basically a party. The athletes showed up. We would just eat meals together. And then it's just like, all right, you two are up. Go ahead and have a blast. Now you two are up and go ahead and blast. There's no brackets. There's no changing. It's so much easier. It's honestly, and I think it's also from a consumer perspective as a fan, I think it's a lot more fun to watch too, because, you have a tournament style. You're going up to the table, you're out, now you're falling into the B bracket, right? These two guys or two girls can actually work each other out and figure out what their game plan is going to be in that best of 5. So it's a lot more interesting versus you might get someone, as you know, there's some people who are amazing tournament pullers, but when you put them in the super match, they don't do so well, and vice versa. So I think personally, I love super match arm wrestling. I think that's the future of the sport.
It's definitely cool. It's definitely more a better thing to put together, at least from a just logistics standpoint. It's just easier to take care of, I think. But the main thing that you guys are just doing that really puts you apart is the production. So I really hope there wasn't a lot of issues with that and you could tweak anything. I mean, everything looked great. If anything, if I had anything that I could even critique, it would maybe be the microphones. Seemed a
Hmm.
little
Yeah.
like flat, maybe. Um, but man, you guys did phenomenal, like just phenomenal. And I'd love to help cover these events, or any help you would ever need with something like this. I would love to get this out
Much
there and
appreciated.
to help be one of the premier things that's going on in the country, because I just really like what you guys are doing, and I commend how far you've gotten in just a short amount of time.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, and we're trying to do as many ways as possible to grow, not just this event, but all of the next future ones. Um, I believe we had mentioned previously, very, very shortly there will be a tournament where you will be have an opportunity to actually pull on our card. That's one of our biggest goals here is, as you had mentioned, when we're trying to get these international athletes over here, we want to give them opportunity, but we also want to always pay, homage to the locals that are always up and coming, and are really trying to make a name for themselves. And that's why we do have, a YouTube pay-per-view that is then followed by the, pay-per-view. So, yeah, tournament coming up very soon, December 9th. You take the overall, you're going to be on Knuckles Up 2.
Where's that going to be at? Do you have a location?
Yep, that will be at Signature Fitness in Belleville, New Jersey, 471 Cortlandt Street. And the flyer should be coming out tonight on our
Hmm.
Instagram, and we're going to
Hmm.
post it all over the socials. So if you are looking to be on a world-class pay-per-view in the United States, fly in, drive in, wherever you want to come from, win the overalls at our qualifying series, and you'll be on Knuckles Up too.
That is an opportunity. We got to make sure that that gets out there.
Hmm.
I will get that. Do you have a flyer? You're dropping the flyer today?
Yep, we will send it to you.
Awesome. I will make sure we get that on the calendar. This is phenomenal, man. You guys are doing a great job. You look like you got a great team going on. Kris, do you do radio or something?
No, actually, definitely don't do radio. You'd think Will's the radio guy. Why?
Really? I mean, Will's the voice as far as I could tell he could be on the mic, but you have that radio voice, man. That's just that
Uh,
smooth, solid radio voice. I didn't know if maybe you were a gamer or had your own podcast. I wasn't sure.
No, I appreciate the kind words. I'm complete opposite. Now, I usually let Will do all the talking, but I just wanted to echo what you said earlier. People like yourself are kind of what we do this for. The support that we've gotten from the community, even just in a short span of time, has really been overwhelming. And it's given us, because, like you said, these things are not easy to put together. A lot of sleepless nights between us and our team. But and even if there is constructive criticism, right? We look at all the comments and we take it and we say, hey, if you're not letting us know what's wrong, we won't know what's wrong, right? And we're trying to make those tweaks so that it gets better, because if you guys are having a good time, then we're having a good time. And like Will said, we're all part of the same party, so that's kind of what we're looking for. So thank you again for everything you guys do.
Awesome. And are you going to be able to have the same venue that you had for the first one in the second Knuckles Up event?
Yep,
Yes, correct.
100%.
Beautiful, because
Yep.
that's a huge deal especially
Mhm.
for the kinks that come into
Yep.
play. So
Yep,
that's
we will be.
awesome, man. What's your is your Instagram easy to find? Knuckles Up or
So it's
the high
actually,
five?
yep, it's just the high five arm wrestling AW. Let me just pull it up just so I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the underscore high underscore 5.aw. Check that out. All of our stuff is there, from Knuckles Up 1. Also, some of our personal stuff with our team. We love to highlight them as well. So you'll be able to see all of our newest information and updates all from the underscore high underscore 5.aw.
Yep. And we also have a Facebook page if you guys are looking for any information on there as well. We post there pretty frequently and share a bunch of stuff. We know, for example, like the 98% is a big supporter of us. So we try to get a lot of their information out there too.
Well, that is awesome. I am connected to your Facebook page. I don't do much Instagram. I think I'm on there through Facebook somehow, but I'm old. So, but I will definitely get that in the description. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I am
No
looking
worries.
forward to what you guys got going on. Knuckles Up to January 6th, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. I wish you best in your future endeavors, and I can't wait to see this next show and see what you guys got going on.
Sounds great.
Yep. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
That is it. Another Armfighter report in the books. Remember, armfighter.com, America's best event calendar and the official U.S. rankings. Stay strong, everybody.